Rise and shine, roommates. It is 6 a.m., and I am here to play 21 questions with you. Today, I'll be answering 21 questions about myself, about the podcast, and about the future of myself and the podcast. So, if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, first question. Mission of the platform. So, my mission for my platform, or the mission to use my platform, whatever wording you want to put it in, but you understand it, is basically to educate my listeners, to allow them to um, obtain and understand information that they usually wouldn't get on a regular platform on an everyday basis. I do believe you learn something every day. You can be educated every day, and I just want to be the one doing it as well as or with others. What is the small term goal? My small term goal is definitely just to get my podcast off the floor and get my name out there. It's not gonna happen no time soon, just because my lack of organization and drive, just to get everything straightened out and how it needs to be. Don't get me wrong, I love my podcast. I'm very happy and proud of myself on where I am, from where I started. So don't get me wrong, but I definitely, hopefully, wish to achieve my short-term goal real soon. All right. So where did the name "In My Room" only come from? The name comes from because I'm an introvert and I love being in my room. My room is my comfort place. I believe being comfortable is the ultimate key to peace. Um, Especially when it comes to my room, it allows me to collect my thoughts. It's where I get my best energy, aka my sleep. So, in my room only is just another word for your comfort place, where you get the best out of your time, your day, and you get to be yourself comfortably. What drives your curiosity? I am definitely a curious person. What drives my curiosity simply is knowing that curiosity leads to an educational tip, meaning um, the small things you're curious about leads you to research, and you get to learn new tips and just new knowledge in life, or just on the subject you're curious about. So that's what drives my curiosity, is basically knowing that it's education behind it. Ooh. So, if I didn't explain in the beginning, I'll explain now. These questions were made by me and they were looked up. So, the thing is, this question right here, though, really comes from my obsession of Luke Cage. That's that's my heart right there. Love me some Luke Cage. I know I'm late, but I'm still at the party. Okay. If your superpower was success, if my superpower was success, what would be your weakness? My superpower was success would be my weakness. My weakness would probably be laziness. That's the only thing that's really stopped me from being successful. I can be very lazy and sometimes, and my excuse is because I work two jobs. But the thing is, I know the lifestyle I have, I know the lifestyle I live, and I know the lifestyle I want. So having two jobs isn't really big of an excuse. It just allows me to feel good about taking a nap, if that makes sense. So basically, if my superpower was success, what would my weakness be? Laziness. Laziness is the reason of my success not thriving as much as I would want it to. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Probably just my attitude. I get quick attitudes, but only with the ones I care about. Because yeah, different story for a different day. In 3 words, who is LaSasha M Turner? I am curious, motivated, and content. Those are how I would describe myself. I'm a very curious person because curiosity drives education. I am very motivated to just live a successful life and live in peace. And I am very content with my life because God woke me up to see another day. I'm able to walk, talk, see, hear, speak. I carry abilities that people take for granted and I just, listed. So that's why I'm very content because people are going through worse. So you have to be content with yourself to continue to grow in a more positive and humble manner. Okay, I can't believe I have this much energy at 6 a.m., but we're getting it. Yeah, I have to see if I'm still recording because I don't have any headphones in, so I really can't hear myself. My microphone is acting like it doesn't want to, hook or, work with the mixer. And the mixer's acting like it doesn't want to work with the MacBook, so I gotta keep turning around to make sure I got a show going on. Okay. What is one thing you wish you didn't do during season one? I definitely talked a lot without making the conversation more conversational. Meaning, I just question after question after question instead of getting an explanation. So I feel like I should talk more, but talk less, if that makes sense. Talk more in a conversational form. Talk less in question form. Meaning, like I said, stop just asking question after question. It was my answer. Okay. You create a conversation out of the answer that they have given you. That's something I want to do in season two. Did I? Oh yeah. I almost threw out a card I didn't read. If you could interview anyone or anything in the world, who or what would it be? So, this question, I don't know. Let's get back to it because that's a hard one. I don't know. What is one goal you plan to reach during season two that you didn't reach in season one? Relating and connecting to my audience. That's something I did not do. At this moment, I low key don't understand. Meaning, like, basically, how do you start? How do you engage? How do you allow that conversation to go with your audience and your listeners so you guys can feel more as content buddies or social media friends? Like, you know how you have all those social media followers that you never met before, but you're cool as hell with? That's how I want with my listeners. So that's something I want to do in season two that I didn't do in season one. Okay. What are some things you plan to take away from season two? Oh, didn't I just do that one? I think. Uh, okay, if I didn't, then I guess we're down to 20 questions. Okay. What topic do you plan to reach during season two? Just like last year, all the topics. Now people say, oh, well, that's too big of a range. Why would you want to do education, politics, law, life, plant life, just entrepreneurship, business? Why would you want to do all that? Just, stick down to one. Because I am that type of person. I want to know all of that. I want to know about it. I don't care if it's every week, if it's every day, and it's easier to get it from one person instead of looking around, going to different podcasts, just trying to understand where sources is coming from, how to understand the events, and you also want to get it from a person that you believe that will serve real facts. And I believe I am that person. I don't like to speak on anything without facts and without anything to back it up. I am very opinionated, but I like to announce that this is an opinion and not a fact. Um, and I like to share my side and my feelings and my thought because I definitely believe that creates a greater conversation and that just instills confidence in others to have that conversation as well. I know people who's scared to have conversations simply because it's like they're worried it will go on their record, their educational record. Someday in the future, somebody will find it and use it against their job credibility or even their resume. But I don't care. I feel like freedom of speech is Amendment 1. So, yes, that is one thing, or those are a few topics I plan to reach in season 2 simply because I feel like we need to create a lot of voice. If that makes more sense. And as well as, for example, over the weekend, I seen a political run going on in Jersey for Senate. Who knew? Who knew? I didn't, and I would have loved to vote, but literally they were speaking of it the day before it was time to vote. I was on my way to work, and I knew I wasn't gonna remember by the time I got out. So that's why I would want to continue to speak on wide ranges of subjects, of genres, of just anything that's worth speaking about, anything that shines recognition on young individuals and gives young individual knowledge and wisdom for older generations. I'm just here for it all. I'm here for it all. Sounds like I'm tired, probably, but I am just full of energy. Just a morning person. Some people are like, how do you do it? I do it. What won't continue in season 2? So, what won't continue in season 2 is host. I will not be doing co host. Love my co hosts, but I definitely use them as uh, a side partner only because I was scared. Now, I don't want to say use because it sounds like a bad thing. They're my good friends. But truth be told, I was very scared to start season 1 off on my own, so I feel like I need a co host. What else will happen in season 2 is multiple guests. I will be on the platform more on my own than with others, mostly on my own. I will still have guests. I love having conversations with individuals, but like I said, a lot of times it was like a crutch because I was just too scared to speak by myself on my own to a camera and a microphone just by myself. Like I said, I go to school for media communications. I wanted to be a host, and podcasting just gave me an earlier step, and I just completely fell in love with it. But I never thought of podcasting until I heard of podcasting. So my mind as a host was just always to understand that it should be always somebody across from you. And that's what it was. I just had to make sure somebody was across from me. So that won't be happening in season 2. Where did the idea of In My Room Only come from? So the idea of creating a podcast basically came from college. Starting college as media communications, I just wanted to be in my field of career. So, or a little start. So I started with the radio club just to get a little understanding of what is going on in the background, the little teaks and creaks, and people should know before you even start an internship. Freshman year. So I started that. Then right around spring of freshman year, I started getting into podcasting, and I wanted to start a podcast on our campus so I called it Generational Podcast. I got it approved for like 3 weeks, but it didn't fall through. Because it didn't fall through, I was disappointed, but I still wanted my podcast. So I created one. I created In My Room Only at my house, doing my research on basically what equipment do I need, what is the best style, what is just the best ambiance, and what is the best connects and the media outreach and the content to grow a podcast. Every time I speak to somebody, they know. I keep squinting because I don't have any glasses on, but anytime I speak to somebody, they know that hosting is definitely a career that I want to do. And now that I started podcast is something I definitely want to continue. So, shout out to college for, making my long-term career of podcasting. I have to make sure, that I just keep throwing these cards. Look how cute they are. Look how cute they are. They have the questions. The logo. Okay, so what is the format planned for season 2? Basically, as I continue to repeat, it's going to be fun, laughter, content, comfortability, and most important, education. The last one is a real format for podcasting, educational format. But the rest of the ones that I listed is my own type of format, and we're here for season 2 and for the future. All right, getting down to the nitty gritty. If money was no subject, what would you do all day? Because we're going to eat and sleep. Because these thighs don't come from eating sides. Yes, I would just eat and sleep all day. That's sad to say, but if I ain't making money, what I'm going to do? If you could go back in time to change one thing, what would it be? Time. I would definitely change time. How I handle things and timing, how I decided to go about situations and timing, just about how I carry my podcast and timing. I would take back my time to release my content more, give myself more to my podcast. People think I give a lot to it, which I do, but I definitely believe I can give much more, and that's just the God honest truth, baby. I want my time back. What is your who is your inspiration? I put this question on the card because it's such a generic question that people get asked, and I want to give my answer just to see if anyone else has the same. So, who is my inspiration? Tricky question. I don't have one. I don't do inspirations. Inspirations is a great thing for some people. Some people can look up to them, but I look up people as examples. I look at you and see what you did, and what you didn't do, what I can take away to help grow. And celebrities are a very great deal, but I look at them as people too. So if a mistake happens, it's like, okay, and this mistake, what lesson, any lesson, it could be 1,001 lessons out of one mistake can you learn. If they make a money deal, what is one or two successful things out of 1,003 things that they did that can make you successful? I look at people as examples, not inspirations. I will never want to be like anybody. I don't inspire to be like anyone. I inspire to be like myself, just taking examples from others to build who I am. Okay, long-term goal. My long-term goal is to master living in peace, y'all. I just want to master silence. I want the peace. And people are like, okay, you can have it. But peace is exactly not letting anything get to you that does not give you positivity, power, or growth. And that is a hard thing to do. I just said, yeah, I have a little attitude problem. People get ticked off the smallest things. I'm probably one of them people. Well, I am one of them people. So I just want to live in peace. If any negativity come my way, I'm like, no, bye. That's my long-term goal. So, what do you know? When did you know you wanted to be a host? I wanted to know I wanted to be a host when I was in 7th grade, and my teacher sat me down. She asked me what I wanted to be. Criminal justice lawyer, I told her. She looked me down in my eyes and said, you better learn how to win your cases, because if you don't, they'll come after you and your family. So if you don't win, I would think about a different career. Those wasn't her exact words, but damn near close to it, for real. She dead ass told me, and if I don't win my cases, papa. So I was like, papa. And I had to think about what is my next best thing. I knew I could argue well. My speech was very fluent. I knew that I can make two connections into one, and I knew that my arguments, like I said, was very strong. And everyone knew that I could have been a great lawyer. People commented on me all the time, but at that moment, I value family very strongly. So I was like, can't let that happen. So I just started, what is the next best thing to me? And please don't take your mind out together right now. But the next best thing to me was my mouth. I can talk. I'm a very curious, my mouth and my mind. I'm a very curious person. I love to ask questions no matter who you are. Simply because I learn, and sometimes you get to learn about yourself. I enjoy asking questions when people are like, that's a great question. I never even thought about that. That's how you know you're good at asking questions. When people have to think about themselves. So, that's how I knew I wanted to be a host. Because I was scared half to death out of my first dream career. And I knew I could ask very great questions without getting others offended. Very curious mind on everything, on life, such as people, plants, Mother Nature. And just, I'm curious about questions that have never been answered, just on socialism, social life, economy, politics. Yeah. Now we're down to the last question. So, we have asked this question before. Okay? If you could interview anyone or anything in the world, who or what would it be? I wouldn't know. honestly, at this moment, I wouldn't know, because if we take this question very seriously, we know if you had that opportunity as a host, that is a once in a lifetime. So mine would probably be a historic person that obtains a lot of information that the people want to know. Like, honestly, I want to know about, for example, like the Rwanda genocide. Like, what was the words that made everyone turn on each other? What was the governmental's, position in everything that happened? You read stuff, you go to the museum. I've been to the museum, but if you don't hear from somebody or even multiple, there's always something being missed out of that story. And I'm still so curious of Rwanda's genocide. So, if I had a question, or if I had the opportunity to interview anyone I could, it would be one of them. One of the surviving individuals who are now strongly living. And yeah. And I also read that they forgave each other. So I have so many questions on what is your true definition of forgiveness? Simply because I was a crazy, crazy moment in history, and for others to forgive each other, you must have a very strong heart, and peace must live deep within you. So I gotta know. All right, roommates. Thank you for listening and coming along for my 21 questions. This won't be the last video of the summer. I am a morning person. I have to keep up the saga of rise and shine. So you might always hear that crack in my voice, the squint in my eyes. But I'm always here, baby. I'm always here. Until next time, roommates, it's your girl, LaSasha Turner.